Welcome to the JMU Career and Academic Planning Interviewing Virtual Workshop. To start, please provide us with some basic information so we can connect with you after you finish the workshop. You'll be presented with some written information, videos, and graphics. We'll ask a few questions along the way to make sure that you're learning the material. This digital workshop should take about an hour to complete. Have a question or need help? Email cap@jmu.edu. To start, provide us with your name, majors and minors, Duke's email, academic standing, and whether or not you're taking this for a class assignment or credit. Upon completion of the interviewing workshop, students will be able to identify resources to prepare for an interview, recognize tips on how to be professional during an interview, and name the steps in the STAR interviewing strategy. This workshop addresses the following career readiness competencies: oral and written communication, career management, and critical thinking and problem solving. This first section will focus on how to present yourself and navigate different types of interviews. Your elevator pitch. In order to do an interview, you first have to get one. When introducing yourself to an employer, you want to have an introduction that makes a strong first impression. An elevator pitch is a 30 to 60-second commercial where you give an overview of your experience, skills, strengths, accomplishments, and goals. Include your name, major, class year, skills gained from experience, career interests, employer needs, and an ending question. Watch the video below to learn more. Now, practice writing your own elevator pitch. Don't worry, it doesn't need to be perfect. Just try writing one for yourself. Remember to include your name, major, class year, skills gained from experience, career interests, employer needs, and an ending question. Types of interviews. Informational interview. Informational interviews are meant to connect you to people in a professional field in which you're interested. How to find someone to interview. Figure out what you're interested in and research people in that field. This may be someone you were referred to, a professor, a family member, etc. Use LinkedIn or Handshake and utilize your network. How to set one up. Send an email requesting a brief interview. 15 or 30 minutes is a good time to request. Cold call and set up an appointment. Make sure to clearly indicate the purpose of the meeting in your initial contact. How to prepare and what to ask. Make sure to research the organization, company, or field to develop well-thought-out questions, at least 5 or 6 of them. What would you suggest for someone just starting out in the field? What is a typical career path in this field? What do you do on a typical day? How competitive is the job market in this field? Types of interviews. In person. In-person interviews include on-campus interviews. Some employers will schedule 1 or more days to come to JMU to interview students for their positions listed on Handshake. These take place in the Career and Academic Planning Interview Center on the 3rd floor of the Student Success Center. On-site interviews. These are conducted at the organization or company's location. This allows you to see the physical surroundings where you could one day be working. It may last all day or include a shadowing portion so that you can really get a feel for the atmosphere and see what the organization is like. You may meet with many different people who have input in the hiring decision. Finally, board or panel interviews are the final type of in-person interviews. Multiple people may be asking you questions. It's important to establish rapport with each member of the group. Try to reply to individuals by name and make eye contact with everyone as you respond to questions. Look at this graphic to see how performing well in a panel interview works. Types of interviews. Phone. A lot of companies now will conduct a first interview or a screening over the phone. Have your documents like your resume, cover letter, and other necessary credentials ready to go so that you can refer to them. Feel free to mark up your resume with different things you can talk about. If available, have the company website pulled up as well as the job description so you can refer to company-specific points. Make sure to be in a space where you won't have any loud disruptions. It helps to smile while talking. It changes the tone and pitch of your voice. Types of interviews. Virtual. Over half of companies now are conducting interviews using programs such as Skype, Google Hangout, or Zoom. Some of these are one-sided, which require you to send in a recorded interview via a program like InterviewStream. Here are some helpful tips. Dress professionally for the interview, just as you would as if it was in person. Have your resume out so that you can refer to it. Practice with the video program that will be used beforehand with a friend or family member to avoid technical issues. Find a place where you won't have any disruptions during the interview. The sound and lighting have no issues, and the background is minimal. Practice with InterviewStream to assess your interview performance and catch any technical issues. InterviewStream is a free online program that allows you to record yourself answering common interview questions from almost any industry, allows you to review the video, and even send it to others for feedback. Answer these quiz questions to make sure you're learning the material. What type of interview involves multiple people asking you questions? What should you do for a virtual interview? Choose all that apply. Section 2. This section will focus on how to prepare for an interview, including different strategies on how to answer questions. Watch the video below to learn how to prepare for an interview. How to prepare for an interview. Research the company. Utilize the company's website. What are their values? What's their mission? Search for them on third-party websites like Google, Handshake, and Vault.com to learn more and see them in the news. Research the person or people interviewing you. Learn more about their background and their job in the company. You can use the company website or directory or LinkedIn to learn more. Practice your interviewing skills. Find questions available on our website at jmu.edu/cap. Use InterviewStream to practice. Have 3 to 5 questions prepared for the interviewer. This will show them that you're interested in the job and the company. Make sure to confirm the interview details prior to the day of. Time, date, attire, location, parking, and travel details are sometimes all essential. Questions to prepare for. Your questions for the employer. Having questions for the employer regarding the organization and position not only shows interest in the job and company, but it helps you thoroughly evaluate the position and determine if it is the right fit for you. Here are some examples of what you can ask. What does a typical day for this job look like? What is encompassed in the training for this position? What are some examples of career paths within this organization? What is the availability for growth in the company? In what other areas are you located, and would I be eligible for relocation? What kind of supervision would I receive? How is the company structured, and how would I fit into the overall organization of the company? How much travel is normally expected? Where would I be traveling? Try not to ask obvious questions that are easily answered by the organization's literature. This will only reflect your lack of preparation. Questions to prepare for. The employer's questions for you. Behavioral questions are posed to obtain information about how you might behave in a given work situation based on past performance in similar situations. Here are some examples. Give an example of a time working on a team project. What was your role? What was the outcome of the project? Describe a time when you had to interact with a difficult client. What was the situation and how did you handle it? Tell me about a time you failed. How did you deal with the situation? Case study questions are asked so that an employer can understand your thought process. These questions provide you with a dilemma or situation that you may encounter in the job for which you are applying. These questions will differ depending on the job field. Employers can tell the difference between a candidate who enters an interview prepared and one who is just winging it. Here's how to prepare for the important behavioral questions so that they come across concise and well-spoken. Use the STAR strategy. First, situation. Describe the specific setting situation for which the experience took place. For example, during my 3rd year of college, I was elected vice president for professional programs for my student association. The duties of the position included securing speakers for our meetings, advertising the programs to the campus community, introducing speakers, and evaluating each program. Next, task. Describe the specific task or project related to the skill sought. For example, attendance at meetings had decreased over the last few semesters, and my role was to figure out how to increase attendance. Next, actions. Describe the specific steps or actions you took to complete the task or project. For example, I created a committee to explore reasons why members stopped coming to meetings. We decided that since our meetings focused on programming and speakers, I would develop a survey to determine the members' professional interests and gather ideas for possible speakers and topics. My team and I sent emails and talked to each member to get them to complete the survey. Then we randomly selected members for a focus group interview. I had learned about this research technique in my marketing class and thought it would help us identify why attendance had dropped. Finally, results. Describe the results or outcomes resulting from the actions taken. For example, because of the information we gathered from surveys and interviews, we selected speakers and topics that members were interested in for the entire year, produced a brochure describing each program and the featured speaker. Under my leadership, attendance increased 90% over the previous year. Answer the following quiz questions to make sure you're learning the material. STAR strategy. Let's try it. Write about a success you're particularly proud of in your life and why it was a success. Select the resources that you could use to prepare for an interview. Choose all that apply. What questions should you not ask the employer during an interview? Making connections. There is so much more to a job search than submitting resumes. It's all about identifying key opportunities that many times are not posted to the public. Some experts cite figures that 70 to 80% of all open jobs are never advertised to the public. Donald Asher writes in his book How to Get Any Job that if you only look for advertised jobs, you're missing half the job market. Advertised jobs are like the tip of the iceberg, while the rest of the iceberg is invisible. You have to find the hidden job market to run a successful job or internship search. So, how can you learn about positions if they're not publicly advertised? Talk to people, connect, build relationships, and network. This is why the expression that it's not what you know, but who you know can ring true. Employers, if given the choice, would rather interview someone familiar or who has been referred to them. Having a common connection can definitely be in your favor. Section 3. This final section will take you through the structure of an interview, how to be professional during an interview, and give you a few reminders and tips to be your best. Stages of an interview. Now that you know the type of interview you're doing and you've prepared for it, here is the structure of how the interview will go. First, introductions and breaking the ice. Make sure to be on time and give a firm handshake upon meeting. This is a conversation to create a relaxed atmosphere for the interview. Next, the interview asks you questions and verifies information. This is where you, the candidate, can share your experiences in order for the interviewer to assess your skills and qualifications and to discover your personal qualities. Remember the STAR strategy. This will be the majority of the interview. Next, the candidate asks questions. You have the ability to ask the interviewer questions about the position and or the company to clarify any information not answered by your research. Have these prepared beforehand and bring them with you so you don't forget. Next, closing the interview. The interviewer will explain the decision-making process and what will happen next. They will request any other materials needed from you. This is where you should restate your interest in the position and thank the interviewer for the opportunity to interview. Finally, decision-making and recording of information. The interviewer will complete an evaluation form to assess your suitability for the position. You should also keep notes of the interview to assess and evaluate your own interest in the company. Even though the interview is over, there's still work to do. Always send a thank you to the interviewer and anyone involved in the process. You can use the sample below to develop your own thank you note. Sending a thank you message. You can send a thank you to anyone who helped you with your job search, interviewed you, reviewed your application material, extended an offer whether you turned it down or accepted it, or did not extend an offer but worked with you through the selection process. Tips for your thank you. Send it within 2 days of your interview. Highlight your discussion with the interviewer. Restate your qualifications and interest, and keep it short and concise. A mailed note is the most professional option, but since many recruiters and employers travel extensively, an email is acceptable. Day of interview reminders. Eat a good breakfast so you have enough energy to get throughout the day. Arrive early for the interview. Make sure you get ready well ahead of time. Your alarm is set and the volume is up. Leave your house early if you're traveling. Or have your space already set up if it is a phone or virtual interview. Have a few copies of your resume with you. Make sure there is a copy for each of the interviewers, whether in person or if you need to email them for a phone and virtual interview. Bring a notebook and pen and have something to take notes with. Dress appropriately. Your outfit should add to your image, not distract from your qualifications. Everything should be clean and wrinkle-free. Conservative colors like navy, dark gray, black, or dark brown are preferable. Make sure skirts or dresses are long enough, at least down to your knees. Wear comfortable shoes. You may be walking a lot. Think about the field you're interviewing for. Is a suit appropriate, or would it be frowned upon? If it's in person, go light on the perfume, cologne, aftershave, etc. Some people may have allergies or sensitivities. If you aren't sure about the dress code, you can ask the employer or recruiter directly and politely. Look at the graphic below to learn more about business casual versus professional attire. Be professional. Professionalism is a skill most employers look for. Here are some tips. Maintain appropriate eye contact. It's not a staring contest. Have a firm handshake. Get familiar with an appropriate interview etiquette in the country you will work in. Be aware of inappropriate small talk. Unless given permission, always address someone by their title and last name. Be nice to everyone you meet. You never know who has influence in the hiring process. Your interview starts the moment you walk out of your car, answer the phone, or turn on video, and doesn't end until you're back in the car, in the phone call, or turn off video. Remember, you're great. Be confident. Show them why they should hire you. Relax and breathe. It's okay to ask for the question to be repeated even if you've already started answering. Refer to your resume experience as well as non-resume experiences. Have good posture, sit or stand with confidence. Remember, you would not have an interview if they were not already interested in you. If it's in person, shake hands at the end of the interview and always say thank you and mention the interviewer's name. Tips and next steps. Maintain a careful record like the table above that includes job announcements, scheduled interviews, and thank you notes that you've sent and what you need to do to follow up. Job seekers who fail to do this often lose valuable context and credibility with prospective employers. Keep a record of the jobs you apply to by saving a screenshot or PDF of the job posting. Sometimes they disappear when the company starts interviewing candidates. Answer the following quiz questions to make sure you're learning the material. Which tip or tips will help you be professional during an interview? Select all that apply. What should you bring to an interview, whether in person or over the phone or virtual? Select all that apply. Check out CAP's website for more information at jmu.edu/cap. We can help. Make an appointment with CAP to have all of your documents reviewed, review your interview stream video, practice answering interview questions, or discuss the interview process, tips, and more. Thanks for completing the workshop. If you have any questions, contact CAP at cap@jmu.edu or make an appointment with CAP staff. See jmu.edu/cap for more information and resources.